Industry Insider is only available at Promo Corner, the leader in digital marketing for the promotional products industry. Each Monday, they discuss, dissect, and debate a single issue impacting the world of promotional marketing from every industry perspective. Now, it's time for Promo Corner's Industry Insider.
Welcome to another edition of the Industry Insider, your promotional products podcast where you can get all the nerdy news you need to know about. My name is Jeff Franklin, National Accounts Manager with Headwear USA. And I'm joined today by two other lovely folks this week. And before we get to them, just need to really let you guys know that this incredible broadcast is going to be brought to you today by our good friends over at TechWeld. Look, in a world filled with worry, TechWeld has got a lot of, regarding overseas products, TechWeld's got a lot of USA-made products. They offer a lot of USA-made products to help separate themselves from the promotional products pack. We'll talk hand sanitizers again, coronavirus, Delta variant, it's all out there. Look, masks, vaccines, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's still really good to practice good hygiene. Hand sanitizers and washing the hands is one of the biggest keys to preventing the spread of the disease, as recommended by the CDC. And they've got many sanitizer SKUs that can help combat the spread of the virus. They've also got a lot of FDA compliant products. In time of uncertainty, knowledge that a product is FDA compliant is key in allowing a customer to feel at ease when placing an order. So go be sure to check them out at techweld.com. That is TEKWELD.com. And let them know that Industry Insider sent you. Why don't we say hi to Stephen McFadden?
Hello. I feel like I'm in a refrigerator. I finally fixed the air conditioner, or got it fixed in our building, and I'm just not used to having it blasting on me right now. So. Have
you been getting as much rain as we have up here? It has been storming buckets for
since Saturday, and we actually had a power outage. We had some crazy lightning and thunder come through and knocked us out for a couple hours. So it's been pretty much daily since Saturday.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the one time that we do a live podcast and the power goes out because of a storm. Yeah. So sorry to mention, we actually have 3 guests this week. I don't know if you saw her just pop on the screen. Meg's daughter. Now, Meg, how are you doing? You doing all right?
No, yeah. I mean, the weather here, it's been threatening all week as well. So I've been coming in and out. There was tornadoes, couple towns over in Pennsylvania, last week. It was really bad. So, I mean, other than that, I'm doing the best I can. I'm sure everyone's seen the news about Afghanistan. It's hit me and a bunch of all the veterans I know pretty hard this week. So,
yeah, I mean, as a veteran, I can imagine, but it's pretty insane. Regardless of where you stand, I think there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. So I'm with you, and I support you. Anything that I can do for you, happy to do so.
Yeah, just if you guys know a vet that was in it, or just in general, they're all feeling a certain kind of way, whether it's angry or sad or confused, just reach out and tell them that you're there to listen, and just listen. They need it. That's all.
Sure. Well, I mean, if you guys have, just come into the podcast within the last year or so, that you know that we typically like to have a special guest with us each week, but we're really working hard to get you some freight and logistics updates. And so we're working on that behind the scenes to try to get somebody in here to sort of really help bridge that gap and give us some insider information, if you will. But this week, we're going to talk news updates and basically just what's happening in the industry. So this might be a quick one. I don't know, but there's definitely lots of news and things happening. So knowing us and the gift of gab that we have, I would imagine we'll probably fill up a good 20 to 30 minutes, no problem. So
you always say the nerdy news you need to know, and this is that. We're going to give the nerdy news.
Honestly, I feel like the first time we're maybe actually covering a wide range of news. We like to stick to 1 or 2 topics each week, but we probably should. We've actually talked about that before, about just having, maybe a 5-minute segment in each podcast to just sort of cover really briefly a recap of what's happened in the last week as far as the industry goes, because there's always news updates. So some of the things that's happening right now, like I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but there was just the PPB news link just came out this morning with the PPAI board candidates for class of 2026. It was Denise Taschereau with Fairwear up in Canada, our good friends up there, and then Chris Anderson, the CEO of Braintree as well, Massachusetts-based supplier Hub Pen. So really great people to be adding to the board as candidates for class of 2026. What do you guys think?
I don't know Scott. Well, sorry, Denise. I just love her. Sorry, I'm obsessed. No, Denise. So we're both on the Promo Cares board together, and she has such a heavy focus on sustainability, and I have learned so much from her, and just I feel like she was the right person to be on the PPAI board. I mean, I don't even know what her interview process was like, but she probably blew them all out of the water. She's brilliant. She is just brilliant. I'm really, really happy for her and the board and the industry. Win-win all the way.
Yeah. I think it's cool looking at, candidates and the board members that they keep rotating through. I mean, just the amount of experience and the high level of people that continue to keep getting added, especially obviously with the change in leadership and there too. I mean, it's two people adding 35 years of industry experience with two big names is huge. So that's awesome.
And Chris Anderson, sorry, I was thinking Scott.
Yeah, no, it was Scott.
I don't know why. I was like, and as soon as I said it, I'm like, that's not right. No, that's different. He comes from Hanes Brands, and they have a big sustainability story too. So I'm really glad that the PPAI board and the committee that was selecting them were taking this into consideration. Like, this is really big for the industry. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are too.
I'm amazed at the powerhouses that the board continues to bring on each year. Like, it's surprising that the list continues to go on. It's like, haven't you had everybody that's like a powerhouse? And it's like they keep coming out of the woodwork. It's amazing. So really good outlook then, I guess, for the board. And obviously, I don't even think we've covered. Did we cover that Dale Denham is now the president of PPAI? I mean, I know that's sort of old news at this point, but
it is old news. But we have him coming on in a couple of weeks, which is really exciting. Yeah. Yep. So
we're going to talk live events and upcoming things, how PPAI is moving forward with that kind of stuff, and hopefully we'll get some insider information on Expo and what's happening there, and just praying to God the Delta variant doesn't derail everything. So.
True.
Yeah. I actually have a little bit of news I would like to share. It's not necessarily about me per se, but about one of my colleagues.
Did you? Okay, never mind.
At SNS. Yeah. So I want to say a big congratulations to Carrie Caruso at SNS Activewear. She was the rep outside of Ohio and covered Pittsburgh. Our good friend RJ Messenger, she was his rep.
Cool.
She has been promoted to RVP, the first woman RVP at SNS Activewear.
Oh, wow.
So proud of her. She has kicked ass for so long. She's actually the one who trained me. So kudos to her. There couldn't be anyone that was more deserving. She went up against some tough people here at SNS, and she killed it. So I'm very proud of her, and I just want to give a big shout out and a big congratulations to her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know we just had Ben Taylor on as a guest not that long ago, and I saw him, since you mentioned SNS employees, the Megan Zezo and Ben Taylor just had a baby too.
He did. Oh my God, I know. I've been getting all the little updates. So yeah, they are so blessed.
Very
Two
cool.
Beautiful, beautiful kids.
Very cool. Well, another thing that's happening right now, like literally as we speak, is the PPAI Product Responsibility Summit in a direct-to-you format. But what do you guys think about sort of, because I feel like PPAI has really put I guess a beeline to like product responsibility. The summit has come up a lot over the years. They're doing this product safety aware thing, and you have to have an ambassador for suppliers to actually be able to exhibit. That's been going on now for like, I think 4 years or something like that. How do you guys feel about all that kind of stuff?
Go ahead.
Nope, nobody wants. All right.
No, it's it's interesting, and I'm looking at this, and correct me if I'm wrong. It looks like it's a 4-day virtual event to discuss product responsibility. And when I at first glance, when I hear that, I'm like, there's 4 days worth of material for product responsibility. You know, like in my head, I'm like, that's a lot to cover. Like, I just, maybe how little do I know about product responsibility is the first thing I think of. I'm just like, what am I missing? So,
they're
go
talking
ahead.
about Prop 65 settlement trends and updates,
Yeah.
which is really big because that's never gone away. I feel like that's been something, you know, for forever. So I think they're talking about that. I think they're doing the standard of care for promo, which is really good. I think it's almost like what is the promo standards? It seems to me like it's like a promo standards for promo, which would be really interesting. Like maybe we're making that change now, like as an industry, to start thinking this should be the standard. Like we're not doing junk anymore, guys. We're trying to think of the longevity of this industry, you know, of this world.
Sure.
We gotta start thinking more sustainable. So maybe, I don't know. I would love to hear. I mean, Rick Brenner's doing the panel.
Yeah, it'd be one of those things I'd love to hear a recap, because you know, from us, you know, respectively speaking, a smaller company, it's hard to figure out, like, you know, where does our place fall into this? Is it just how we buy and sell, right, to make sure that we're pushing items that will not be just thrown away, right? Or is it actually, do we need to get involved somehow in that process of, you know, like by not buying certain things, or like, what is our responsibility as a smaller distributor, right? Which I think is a much bigger question. But we also don't have anyone going to the conference. So it'd be nice to hear like a recap of that to figure out. And so maybe that's something we could follow up on and get some future news on. But yeah, it's really interesting to see all the new things that keep coming out on that.
It is difficult to cover, you know, different topics and things that you're not actually involved in or participating in. I mean, it was difficult even to cover ASI Chicago. Like if it weren't for charity, like what would we have done to cover ASI Chicago, you know?
Yeah.
But that's sort of a sign of the times that we're in right now. And it is difficult. So hopefully we don't spread any misinformation. That's why I say, you know, I think we should just give our, you know, our personal sort of feelings or opinions on it, and not really go into any of the actual specifics, because we just don't know, right? Interesting. I don't know if you guys are done with product responsibility. Like, what do you think about the product safety aware? Like, are either one of you aware of that's even a thing? Because I know because, you know, we're a somewhat small supplier. I'm actually the product safety aware ambassador for Headwear. So I have to do the coursework every couple of years.
Can you give me some product safety awareness?
Product safety.
I am unaware.
So basically, it's an initial certification that you have to do, and I'm pretty sure PPAI mandates for any suppliers that are eligible to exhibit, you have to have a product safety ambassador, which means that ambassador has to be product safety aware certified. So it's a lot like the TSA or CAS. Did I say TSA?
Yeah,
TA.
I was wondering if you needed to have like pre-screening for bag checks.
Bag checks?
No, I've got travel on the brain. I haven't done it in so long. No, TAS or CAS, it's a lot like those, but it's not nearly as in depth, and it's very specific about Prop 65 and different product safety orientated topics. I don't know. So a lot like Prop 65, UL, you know, sustainability, that kind of thing. So and then it's something that it's ongoing. Again, a lot like TAS or CAS, where you have to renew basically every couple of years. It's all free coursework, but, you know, it's basically in PPAI's online education portal. So wasn't sure if you guys were aware of it or could speak on it at all, but I know as the product safety ambassador for Headwear, it's something that I have to do, and actually just redid in order for us to be eligible to exhibit in January.
I am not aware of that. I do know, like you do, when you take like CAS certification and go through that, there was lots of courses that were offered that had qualifications, I think, for both, but there were actually some required ones for CAS that specifically were on that product responsibility and sourcing. And I got disclaimer, I tried to take the test without like doing a lot of studying the very first time around, which did not go well. As soon as I got into that section of the course, which was like how many points per million of lead are allowed in this amount of ink, I'm like, I should have studied.
Oh, man.
Did you get your certification when it like before they did the individual quizzes, like the hardcore one that was
yes, like
you?
4 hours. Yeah, I had to do,
Wow.
and I did it proctored because I didn't do it in at PPAI. So at an event, so I did the proctored version, and it's like 3 or 4 hours long back then. And I was like, hey, Proctor, I was like, I need to use a restroom. Like, how does this work? And he's like, you're gonna have to show me your computer screen in your room, and you come back and make sure there's no notes. I'm like, oh man. So it was intense, but it was cool.
Yeah,
Glad I did it.
We've changed it a lot. I mean, it's
Yeah.
definitely to get in there and actually be able to do it. It's actually open course now. Is
Oh man.
So yeah, I remember.
I got it easy now. Back in my day.
Perfect timing.
I think we had that conversation where you had taken the test, like, and it was right before they made those changes. All right. Well, if you guys are done with that, we'll go on to the next topic then. And Brendan Petrich actually gives us a perfect segue into that. He wants to congratulate all of us for being mentioned as the popular promo peeps from Promo Pulse. So pretty awesome. Thank you, Brendan. And one of the things that we were actually going to mention today is that we've got 25 people selected this year as sort of the top mentioned folks in the promotional products industry. And just to go through some of the list, they're not all tagged, but Bill Petrie, Charity Gibson, Stephen McFadden, our very own, Danny Rosen, Kirby Hasseman, Johanna Gottlieb, Brendan Petrich. Congratulations to you as well, Brendan. Amelia Model, Roger Burnett, Jay Baselli, Taylor Borst, Dale Denham, Paul Bellantone, myself, Joel Schaefer, Ronnie Wright, and Jeff Solomon, Brittany David. So a lot of really great folks. Obviously, Meg Erber is in there as well.
And Kathy Cheng, I saw her.
Yep.
Else. Yeah.
It also looks like Tim Andrews, but I don't see he's not posted.
Timmons in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so an incredible group of folks. I certainly don't belong on that list, but I'm glad that I am, and I'll take it. Congratulations to you guys.
It's not just the most popular people. It was, the people that were doing their part to educate and elevate others in our industry. And they were just, the top 25 leaders in that category. That's all. We're not the most popular. That's weird.
Yeah, we're not popular. It's just, All right. Well, I guess mergers and acquisitions is something that we can talk about too, right? Do you guys want to talk about any of the partnerships that have sort of taken place?
I know that I believe yesterday was it Imagine Brands partners with Toddy was announced. I'm trying to think, there was, don't know too many of the specifics on that, but I know that's probably one of the more recent, probably the most recent one.
What does that entail? Like, who's going to be running the show over there? Is that going to be Toddy Gear, or is it going to be Imagine Brands? Are they going to run separately? Are they going to codependently? What are they going to do? Well,
I do know, I mean, not to go too into the weeds, but Imagine is part of Koozie Group now, if I'm not mistaken, right? There's Imagine Brands, parent company Crown.
Oh yeah.
Vitronic, and now it's part of Koozie Group. So they've announced a new partnership with Toddy, is how it reads.
Yeah. So Imagine Brands, parent company of industry supplier Crown Products, like you mentioned, and Vitronic, and part of the Koozie Group, has announced a new partnership with Toddy Gear.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah.
So it does beg the question, like, how does that work with a partnership since it's not like an acquisition? I would guess, and here's where the alert comes into play. Like, this is by assumption.
Disclaimer.
I would assume it's probably like some type of product partnership. There's probably products that Toddy is going to source and fulfill maybe. I don't know. I mean, I would imagine that would be like the first thing that would come to mind.
I think we're going to start to see a lot more partnership groups, kind of like an HPG, where there's like a parent brand with a lot of companies that we're familiar with that fall under an umbrella. It wouldn't surprise me if we see that. I think they did a good job, with not only geographical targets with suppliers, and they formed that group, but also just product differentiation, with different levels of quality and service offerings. yeah, it makes sense.
That kind of stuff has been happening. I mean,
yeah,
I think this is just sort of like an official announcement, if it is indeed a product related partnership, because I know there's certain suppliers that we work with at Headwear and that we, source for and still continue to work with. I mean, that changes things up from time to time, but this just seems like it's an official announcement. So, but Jason and the folks at Toddy are great people. So it's a win for Imagine Brands.
I have one personal note. I'm actually taking a industry related travel next week. So I'm going to a power meeting, which is back in person. So next week I'll be, of all places, in California, and they're allowing an in-person event there. So I kept, every time I saw an email update, I was expecting them to cancel it. So it's like, but I was like, hey, we're 5 days away now. This thing's happening. So
how are they handling the event? I mean, are there any precautions or disclaimers or anything like that? Is there any special, I guess?
Yeah, whatever? So there's been a few updates that have come out as far as regional restrictions, and then the hotel/resort restrictions on things. It appears that it's going to be a mask required regardless of vaccination for the hotel, I guess, like for the actual meetings. There's a few other things about like when in like so as far as like spacing and the social sides of the events, but a lot of that seems like it's more of the hotel resort policy, not necessarily the region policy. But I have to imagine they're kind of coexisting there, being that it's in California where it is a little bit more restricted.
Sure.
Well, the SAC show is coming back, right? Or did it was back? It was last week or 2 weeks ago. Yep. So that was in person.
Yeah, and I think there was an article about that actually saying that it was another good example of live shows and their success. And I'm looking at some of the pictures that were posted.
Wow,
looks like a full trade show.
Yeah, that was just August 5th and 6th. I know the SAC show was always one of the larger, if I'm not mistaken, of the regional shows, very similar to like a SAGNY, it was almost like the Expo West of Expo East, if that makes sense.
It does. Good event.
It's a great event. And of course that was again August 5th and 6th. So that did take place. And it's nice to see that the in-person stuff is starting to come back, despite hesitation with the Delta variant and whatever. But I think people are taking precautions. I think if you want to wear a mask, you can wear a mask for protection or to help, spread, like you mentioned, if it's a mask mandate, that's totally fine and cool. But it's just interesting to see how everybody, sort of is handling things moving forward. So glad to see that things are at least moving in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of brings us to the next topic. We're having Amelia Maddie from Promo Corner next week coming on to talk about virtual shows, hybrid shows, in-person shows, what to expect, and we'll dive into that. So we're really excited to have her on next week.
Sure. It's going to be a good one. All right. Do you guys have anything else to cover? Do you want to go straight into rapid fire? What do we want to do?
I think Steven really wants to do rapid fire.
Can you just feel it?
Exuding
rapid fire? All right, I'll start us off. Favorite board game?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a good question. I would have to say Clue. I really like Clue.
I haven't played Clue in a long time, but I do like Clue.
Yeah, I liked it. It's fun. They always come out with different versions of it.
Yeah. I love Monopoly, but Monopoly takes too damn long, and I always want to cut somebody by the end of it. So really, it is Clue.
Yeah. Was it Jeff?
Jeff did it in the dining room with
the Monopoly piece.
I don't know. If not Monopoly, maybe Risk.
Another long game.
No,
that's trouble.
Risk is like it's a war strategy. It's like Stratego. Stratego is another really good one. It's like a war board game.
Mm-hmm. I'm into some of those nerdy games. like the Settlers of Catan and what's the other, Carcassonne, both good ones. Meg, you know
Oh
Meg.
yeah. I'm more of a Candy Crusher, if you know what I mean.
Not really a board game, but yep.
yeah. Candy Crush, the board game. It's new, Jeff. It's new.
Oh, all right. Cool.
That was my extent of the knowledge of the games that you were talking about.
I'm aware of the games. No, that's actually a really cool question because my girls are starting to get into the age where they can start to kind of somewhat play like Candy Lane and crap like that, or Candy Land, whatever it's called. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. Like I'm like a lot more into board games now than I sort of was in the past, but I love board games, man. It's a good question. Awesome. All right, Meg, why don't we go to you next? What's your question?
What was your favorite subject in school? Like, what were your favorite subjects?
I think math.
Interesting.
I also met my soon-to-be wife in math class, because then she was soon-to-be wife. She is my wife now. Let me just make sure I'm saying that correctly.
I'm glad you clarified because it didn't sound right.
Yeah. As the words were coming out of my mouth, I was like, I'm not in math class. Nobody worry.
I would have to say probably biology or science.
Yeah, biology and like earth science and stuff like that, I was always really fond of as well.
Yeah.
I mean, PE was fun.
Yeah.
Yep. I hated geography, but I feel like I would be really good at geography now.
Yeah, considering everywhere we travel.
Yeah.
I know.
Probably should have paid a little more attention in that class. Yeah.
All right, Jeff, what you got?
All right. Well, I'm going to go lighthearted again. Since sports are starting to come back around and football's happening. What's the over under on a team having to forfeit due to COVID?
Oh,
you know, they're changing the rules this year. They're not going to reschedule stuff. If somebody
Speaking of, in the news, did you guys see that they said the Falcons were the first team to get 100% vaccination of their whole team? Did you hear that?
No, but I had this conversation with a friend the other day, and I'm like, I would imagine the majority of them, if not all of them, are going to be vaccinated. So hopefully it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, they said about 13 other teams were 95% plus. But great question. I'm going to say there will be 2 canceled games this year.
Yeah, I would have to go with, I'm going to go with 1, because I think everyone's going to be like, it's going to upset people. I think it's really going to cause a stir. And I think either things will change or people will be like, all right, we need to figure this out.
I really think it depends on how they're going to handle it, because I think if it's just 1 or 2 people that test, if the majority of them are vaccinated and the vaccine is not supposed to really, or it's supposed to really help with, symptoms and the timeliness of everything. I think if it's just 1 or 2 people and it's not a huge issue, I'm going to go with 0.
Okay.
So we'll put the over under on a half games.
Well, no, because Meg said 1, you said 2. So this is
1.5
like
games.
Price is Right. It's Price is Right rules.
You guys pick what's your fantasy? I have one more. So are you playing any fantasy football this year, Steven? Doing anything? What's your fantasy football name?
Oh, geez.
Are you changing your name, Meg?
I change it every year. You get inspired right before the draft.
Honestly, I haven't even looked at it in forever. I'm trying to see if I had a trophy, but I haven't won, so that's not the case.
It's all right. It takes time.
I don't know. It has to be an art. A good name, you should update it with the times of the new players, with the things that are going on, right? I think so.
You don't have to. It just depends on you and your personality and how you like to name your name. Like, honestly, I'll go first while you think about it, Steven.
I need to find it.
As a Steelers fan, my fantasy football name has been Stairway to 7 since like forever.
So great. No,
well, that's not changing because hey, one last hurrah for Ben Roethlisberger.
I always try to go with something offensive because people are like, who's that? And they're like, oh, that's Meg Erber. And they're like,
oh my God, you and Tony Lametti. Wow.
So we just watched Tropic Thunder last night. So my new name this year is Booty Sweat.
Booty Sweat, nice.
And my picture is up from that music video, so I'll just put that.
See, Stephen, it has nothing to do with the season and what's happening with current players. It's just
I was just inspired.
You guys do you. I'll do it my way. That's fine.
So, do you have an answer?
No, because I want to find my name and I can't find it.
All right, it'll be posted in the comments later. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
See below.
Very cool.
All
right. Well,
button.
See, look, I told you guys we'd have no issue filling 30 minutes. So anyhow, like I said, if you guys did enjoy the podcast, it was brought to you by TechWeld, our good friends over there. USA made in a world filled with worry regarding overseas products. They offer many USA made products to help separate themselves from the promotional products pack. Look, many of you may or may not know that TechWeld were the winners of the Distributor Choice Award in the sunglass category. And so basically they've got a lot of SKUs that are FDA approved and offer UVA and UVB protection. So sunglasses are awesome, so when you want to look cool in your fantasy draft, it doesn't matter if you're indoors or outdoors, throw your shades on, you know what I'm saying? And then look, I think kitting is still huge. I think there's still a lot of folks that are working from home, at least for the next month or so. And they've got a huge kit program as well. They've got 8 different stock packaging for their kits. They've got an EVA bag, a PVC tent pouch, PVC tube, the organza bag, a pillow pouch, BTL 202, which is a 30-ounce tumbler, and a retro lunchbox, which is awesome. Many new players in the industry, or not many players in the industry, are focused too heavily on kits, which really allows TechWeld to sort of hone in on that market with the products and really expand upon their already vast kit line. So go check them out and check those things out at techweld.com. That's TEKWELD, and let them know the Industry Insider sent you. With that being said, we'll see you guys next week with Amelia Model from Promo Corner. Take care, guys.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Promo Corner's Industry Insider. For more great content from industry thought leaders, including podcasts, blogs, and videos, visit promocorner.com.